Hey everyone, hope you all are well. I'm kicking things off today by priming the eye area. You can use any one at all, just make sure you prep the eyes in some shape or form. If you don't have a primer, you can just take some of your foundation or concealer across the eye area and then set it in place with some powder and you're good to go. It's just important because it allows your shadows to adhere better to the eyes, it'll allow them to blend a bit easier, it'll prevent creasing, it'll make sure they last all day, and the list goes on. So it doesn't matter how you apply your primer, you can use the warmth of your fingers to melt the product into the skin, or you can use a synthetic brush just to buff the product in. For the eyes today, I'm using the Nars Skin Deep palette, and I'm not too familiar with the brand. I use the Sheer Glow foundation, but that's literally it. So I figured I'd incorporate a couple of their products into the tutorial today, and the palette, while it's expensive, is nice and neutral, so the majority of people will get lots of wear out of it, and there's shades that can take you from day to night. The first shadow I'm taking is this cream shade here called Taunt, and I'm using this on a fluffy blending brush and I'm taking it all the way across the eye from lash line to brow bone, just to give me a nice blank canvas to start out on. I like with this palette as well that they've chosen to enlarge the most, I suppose, commonly used shades in the palette, the ones that people hit pan on first, and I really like that idea. As well though, with those shades, I don't think you're limited to just the eyes either, although I'm yet to try it on the face, but they do look interesting. Next then I'm taking Sapphire, which is a medium warm toned brown, and I'm beginning by taking this on a flat C-shaped brush, and I'm going to start pressing this shadow onto the lid. So I'm just starting at that lash line and I'm gradually coating the entire lid. I'm lightly patting the shadow so that I minimise the chance of fallout, and I just like to add a couple of layers of this shadow just to build up the intensity. I'm continuing on with that C-shaped brush now. I'm just turning it to the side and I'm using the flat side just to lightly pull the shadow out at an angle on the outer corner just to elongate the eyes and give us that nice winged out effect. Then I'm lightly pulling the shadow up into the crease and I'm just going to get a start on working the shadow into that area and fading it out. If you're comfortable, you can keep going with the flat C-shaped brush, but a more ideal brush, I suppose, for this step would be a fluffy blending brush. So I'm lightly working a little more of that brown now into the crease of the eye using little circular motions and windshield wiper motions to buff and blend that shadow out. And I'm literally just doing this the once. I've already done a lot of the work with my flat C-shaped brush, so I don't really need to go back and add and blend shadow multiple times. Going back to that flat C-shaped brush again now, I'm using it to sweep some of the brown down along the lower lash line. Just because it's got a fine edge, you can get right into the lash line. And if you want to start smoking the shadow out, you can. Just move your brush a little lower down each time and then use your sweeping motions to pull down and fade out the shadow. It's a versatile little brush. Next then I'm taking the shade Whipped, so just working my way across that top row, and this is a gorgeous deep red brown shade and it's a matte finish as well like the previous ones. These shadows are really creamy and easy to work with. They aren't noticeably powdery in the pan, which is brilliant because with a spendy palette you don't want to be picking up some product on your brush and then losing that same amount if not more in fallout in the pan. So as you can see, I've just been adding this shadow to the lid area, same as before, making sure I have a nice even coverage all over the lid. And once I'm pleased with how it looks, I'm using my fluffy blending brush again. I've just lightly dipped my brush into the brown shadow and I'm taking it into the crease of the eye, making sure to wing it out on that outer corner. And a little tip then is if you've blended the brown shadow up maybe a bit too high towards the brow bone, or if you're struggling to blend out a harsh edge, just go back in with that first cream shade that you used and run this over the edge of the shadow. And you can use the cream shade to pull the shadow back down, or you can use it to soften a harsh edge without adding any additional colour, so to speak. I'm going back to my trusty C-shaped brush now and I'm sweeping some of that dark reddy brown down along the lower lash line and I'm gradually pulling it down so that I have a really nice sultry smoky appearance to the eyes. I love a good deep dark matte brown smoky eye. I think it's one that looks great on everyone. So to really now add some depth to this look, I'm taking the shade Coconut Grove, which is like a black brown shadow. It's just not as intense as I was expecting it to be. The colour payoff is good, it's just not as striking as I thought it would be. So I began by sweeping this into the upper lash line, right along there, and I gradually pull my brush upwards and away from the lash line, the less product that I have on my brush, and I then just repeat this process to give me a nice gradient effect. I want it nice and dark and smoky at the lash line, and then I want it to fade upwards from there. So that's just what I did. I just kept adding and blending until I was happy with the outcome, and then I decided to work down on that lower lash line. So again, I just swept some of this shade right into the lash line, mainly keeping it to that area. Same reason as before, I just want to create a nice gradient. So moving on then to the waterline, I'm taking one of the Nars High Pigment Longwear liners. This is a deep chocolate brown, and I just ran this inside the eye. And I was actually really pleased with the performance of this pencil too. I didn't set it in place, but it lasted really well inside the waterline compared to other liners that I have. And now I'm just using that brush again to smudge the pencil slightly into the lash line too. Then I'm picking back up my fluffy brush and I'm going around the edges of the look with whatever is left on the brush just from before to really smoke out those edges. To finish off the look then, I'm taking the shade Centerfold on a small bullet shaped brush, and I'm adding this shimmery shade around the tear duct of the eye just to add a little bit of sparkle because it is a matte look. I've just popped on some of the SoSu Glam lashes from Pennies in the style Dubai, and now I'm coating the lashes with the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara. I'm adding it to the bottom lashes, and then I'm using it to blend my own lashes in with the false ones, and then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, I hope you found it helpful, I hope everyone's keeping safe and well, and I'll chat to you all really soon.